The reading of my father's will was exactly what I expected. Another reminder of where I stood in the Morrison family hierarchy. My brother Thomas got the house, my sister Elizabeth received the vacation properties, and both of them split the majority shares in Morrison Technologies. I got a watch, a broken one. Here you go, Alex. Thomas tossed the old Omega across the mahogany conference table. Dad's lucky watch. Though it didn't bring him much luck in the end, did it? I caught it reflexively, feeling the weight of the timepiece in my palm. The glass was cracked, the hands frozen at 3:47. My father had worn it every day until his stroke. After that, Thomas had taken control of both the company and the family. At least it's appropriate, Elizabeth added with a smirk. A broken watch for the broken Morrison. The family joke, Alex Morrison, the brilliant disappointment. The one who chose research over business, who wanted to create instead of acquire. My father had called me unfocused. Thomas preferred the term waste of potential. Mr. Davidson, the family lawyer, cleared his throat uncomfortably. If that's all, we should discuss the transition of company leadership. There's nothing to discuss, Thomas interrupted. The board has already approved my appointment as CEO. Elizabeth will be CFO. The Morrison legacy is secure. I stood up, sliding the watch into my pocket. Congratulations. You finally have everything you wanted. Oh, don't be bitter, little brother. Elizabeth's voice dripped false sympathy. You can always come work for us. I'm sure we can find something suitable in the mailroom. I left without responding, taking the elevator down 60 floors to the Manhattan streets below. Morrison Technologies occupied the top third of the building, a glass and steel monument to my father's empire, an empire built on something he'd taken to his grave. The secret of Project Echo. 20 years ago, Morrison Technologies had been on the verge of bankruptcy. Then my father had emerged with a revolutionary quantum processing technology that transformed the company overnight. The origin of that technology was known only to him. All documentation, all research, had vanished mysteriously in a lab fire. Now Morrison Technologies was a global leader in quantum computing, and I was the only person who had ever questioned where that technology really came from. In my small apartment across town, a far cry from Thomas's penthouse or Elizabeth's brownstone, I examined the watch more closely. It had been my father's constant companion, even before Project Echo. I'd always wondered why he kept wearing it after it broke. The case back was scratched but intact. Normal watches had serial numbers engraved here, but this one had something different. A series of seemingly random numbers and letters. My 7TP4RT9XV2. I frowned. The pattern looked familiar somehow, like something I'd seen in my own research into quantum encryption. My father had been many things, but he wasn't a quantum physicist. His background was in business, acquisitions. Yet somehow he produced groundbreaking quantum technology that experts still couldn't fully explain. I pulled out my laptop and ran the sequence through various decryption algorithms. Nothing. Then I tried something different, treating it as coordinates using quantum positioning. The screen lit up with a location, an address in Brooklyn in an industrial area I'd never heard of. My phone buzzed. Thomas calling. I ignored it, already grabbing my coat. Whatever this was, I needed to see it before my siblings realized the watch might be more than a cruel joke. The address led me to an abandoned warehouse, the kind of place that shouldn't exist anymore in gentrified Brooklyn, all rusted metal and broken windows. But the lock on the side door was new, and its keypad looked suspiciously familiar. I entered the sequence from the watch. The door clicked open. Inside, past layers of dust and debris, I found another door. This one required fingerprint access. I'd pressed my hand against it, not really expecting anything. Identity confirmed. A computerized voice announced, "Welcome, Alexander Morrison." The door slid open, revealing a hidden laboratory that looked like something from science fiction. Quantum computers lined the walls, their processors humming with energy. Holographic displays filled the air with streams of data. And there, on a central workstation, sat a single envelope with my name on it. My hands shook as I opened it, recognizing my father's handwriting. "Alex, if you're reading this, you've proven what I always knew. You have the mind to solve puzzles others can't even see. You're the only one who ever questioned Project Echo, the only one who saw past the official story. Now it's time you learned the truth about where our technology really came from, and why I had to hide it from everyone, especially your brother and sister. But be careful. Some secrets are worth killing for, and they're already watching. Love, Dad." I looked up at the security camera blinking in the corner. Its red light had just gone dark. I wasn't alone anymore. I had exactly 30 seconds before they arrived. My mind raced, calculating options as I heard footsteps echoing through the warehouse above. The security camera might be dead, but whoever was watching had already seen me. "Primary system breach," the computer announced, initiating data purge. The holographic displays began flickering, data streams dissolving. I grabbed my father's letter and ran to the central computer, fingers flying across the keyboard. If I could just copy the core files before. The workstation's screen flashed. "Quantum encryption key required." Of course, nothing was ever simple with my father. I pulled out the watch, studying it frantically. The frozen hands, 3:47. Why had that time seemed familiar? Then it hit me. The quantum physics paper I'd published last year had been submission number 347. I typed in the numbers. The screen unlocked, revealing thousands of files. "Download initiated," the computer announced. Estimated time, 2 minutes. The footsteps were getting closer. I pulled out my phone, connecting it to the system. Whatever I could save in the next minute might be the only evidence I'd get. A voice called from above, "Mr. Morrison, security team. Please stay where you are." I almost laughed. Right, because heavily armed security teams always show up at abandoned warehouses. My phone buzzed. 30% downloaded. The footsteps had reached the inner door. "Biometric lock engaged," the computer announced. Thank God for small favors. The fingerprint scanner would buy me maybe a minute. I used the time to scan the lab, looking for anything else important. Most of the equipment was beyond cutting edge. Quantum processors that shouldn't exist yet, experimental hardware that looked decades ahead of current technology. "Alex," a new voice, one I recognized. "Thomas, open this door right now." "Kind of busy," I called back, watching the download tick up to 60%. "This is private property," he shouted. "Corporate secrets. You're committing a crime." Funny, I was about to say the same thing, because what I was seeing in these files was impossible. Project Echo wasn't just advanced technology, it was stolen technology. The original research dated back 20 years to a small startup called Quantum Dynamics, a startup that had mysteriously burned down, taking all its research with it, or so everyone thought. My phone, 85% downloaded. The biometric lock. Warning, override in progress. "Thomas, last chance, Alex, don't make this worse than it has to be." I found what I was looking for in the last folder, a video file dated the day before the quantum dynamics fire. My father's face filled the screen, 20 years younger, but wearing the same watch. The deal is simple, he was saying to someone off camera. Sign over the patents, or the next accident won't be a warning. A different voice responded, tired, defeated. You can't just steal someone's life's work. I already have. The only question is whether you live to start over somewhere else. I felt sick. The quantum technology that built Morrison Technologies, that made us billions, it had all been taken at gunpoint. The phone, download complete. The door, override successful. I had seconds left, but there was one more thing I needed. As the door began to slide open, I grabbed a small black box from the workstation, a quantum encryption key. If I was right, it was the only thing that could decode the files I'd just stolen. Don't move. Armed men poured into the lab, followed by Thomas. My brother looked furious, but also scared. Step away from the computer, he ordered, and give me that phone. I held up my hands, making sure he saw the quantum key. Interesting security system you have here, Thomas. Almost like you knew this place existed. His face tightened. I'm protecting company assets. Company assets? I gestured at the lab. This place doesn't exist in any official records, just like quantum dynamics didn't exist after Dad had it burned down. You don't know what you're talking about. Don't I? The timestamps on these files are pretty clear. Dad stole this technology, then erased all traces of the theft, including the original inventors. Thomas's expression changed, became something colder, more calculating, and now you have proof, which makes you a problem. The armed men moved closer. Not corporate security, after all. These were professionals, the kind you hired when things needed to disappear. You know, I said conversationally, I always wondered why Dad gave me that watch. Why he made sure I'd find this place. He didn't. It was a mistake. A broken watch for the family failure, remember? I smiled. Except Dad didn't make mistakes. Everything was calculated, planned. He knew eventually someone would discover the truth about Project Echo. He chose who that someone would be. And he chose wrong. Thomas nodded to his men. Take him. What happened next would have made a great action movie scene. Unfortunately, I'm a scientist, not a martial artist. I managed one good throw, tossing the quantum key through the closing door of a specimen vault, before they grabbed me. That was stupid. Thomas sighed as his men zip-tied my hands. Now we'll have to do this the hard way. You mean like you did with the real inventors of Project Echo? They made their choice. He grabbed my phone, frowning when he saw the encrypted files. And now you'll make yours. Tell us where you threw the key, or... An alarm cut him off. The specimen vault was glowing, quantum energy swirling around the key I'd thrown inside. Warning, the computer announced. Quantum cascade initiated. Containment failing. Thomas's face went white. Get out. Everyone out now. As they dragged me toward the exit, I caught one last glimpse of the vault. The quantum key was dissolving, its encrypted data spreading through the system like a virus. I smiled. Sometimes the best way to protect information isn't to hide it. It's to let it free. They say time moves differently during quantum events. As we raced from the disintegrating lab, I felt the theory in action. Everything simultaneously too fast and too slow. Reality bending around the cascade of unleashed quantum energy. Thomas's security team practically threw me into a waiting van, my brother close behind, shouting into his phone. Shut it down. I don't care how, just contain it. But he didn't understand. None of them did. The quantum key wasn't just decrypting files, it was broadcasting them. Every quantum processor in the lab was now a transmitter, sending packets of data through the quantum network that Morrison Technologies had spent 2 decades building. My father's stolen secrets were about to come home. You idiot! Thomas grabbed my shirt. Do you have any idea what you've done? Actually, I managed despite my bound hands. I do, which is more than I can say for you. An explosion rocked the van, not from the lab, but from Thomas's phone. Every device connected to Morrison Technologies was activating quantum processors worldwide, responding to the cascade. Sir, the driver called back. We're getting reports. The whole network is compromised. Everything's going public. Thomas's face went from angry to terrified. Take us to the office. Now, I closed my eyes, feeling the weight of Dad's watch in my pocket. The time frozen on its face, 3:47, wasn't just a reference to my paper. It was a countdown. 3 companies had created the original quantum technology. 4 inventors had died in suspicious accidents. $7 billion had been stolen along with their research. Now everyone would know. The Morrison Technologies building was chaos when we arrived. Emergency alarms blared as employees rushed out, clutching phones and tablets that displayed fragments of the truth. 20 years of corporate theft and murder, spreading through every connected device. Get him to my office, Thomas ordered as we emerged from the van, and find Elizabeth. They dragged me through the lobby, past shell-shocked security guards and weeping executives. In the elevator, Thomas's phone kept buzzing with increasingly frantic messages. Stock trading suspended. Board of Directors emergency meeting. FBI en route. My brother was coming apart, his perfect corporate mask cracking. This isn't happening. This can't be happening. Dad knew it would, I said quietly. That's why he left me the watch. The elevator opened onto the executive floor. Elizabeth was waiting, her face ashen. The quantum network, she said without preamble. It's not just revealing Project Echo. It's revealing everything. Thomas shoved me into his office, closing the door on the chaos outside. What do you mean, everything? All of it. Elizabeth was practically screaming now. Every stolen patent, every bribed official, every covered-up death. It's all coming out. I sat in one of the visitor chairs, oddly calm. Dad's final failsafe. He knew someday someone would find the truth. He made sure when it happened, nothing could be hidden. You planned this, Thomas accused. You and Dad. You've destroyed us. No, I corrected. You destroyed yourselves. I'm just turning on the lights. Elizabeth's tablet chimed. Another alert. Thomas, the FBI is in the lobby with arrest warrants. My brother moved to his desk, pulling out a gun. Elizabeth gasped. Thomas, no. Shut up. He aimed the weapon at me. You can still fix this. Tell them you hacked the system, planted false evidence. Play the disgruntled failure one last time. I looked at the gun, then at my siblings, the golden children who had everything handed to them, who helped hide our father's crimes while mocking my choices. No, I said simply. The office door burst open. FBI agents poured in, weapons drawn. Thomas's gun clattered to the floor as they took him down. Thomas Morrison, Elizabeth Morrison, the lead agent announced, you're under arrest for conspiracy, corporate espionage, and accessory to murder. As they led my siblings away, another agent helped me up, cutting the zip ties. Dr. Morrison, I'm Agent Chen. We've been investigating Morrison Technologies for years, but could never crack the quantum encryption. Until today. I rubbed my wrists. The encryption was designed to protect their secrets. But protection isn't always about hiding things. She nodded, understanding. Sometimes it's about revealing them at the right time. Your father's final message? Something like that. The next few weeks were a blur of federal investigations, corporate dissolution, and media frenzy. The truth about Project Echo destroyed Morrison Technologies, but something better emerged from the ruins. The original quantum technology was returned to its rightful owners, or their descendants. The billions stolen were repaid, and I found myself working with the surviving inventors, helping rebuild what my father had tried to bury. Thomas and Elizabeth went to prison, along with dozens of executives who had helped hide the truth. I visited them once, bringing Dad's watch. He left it to me because he knew I'd understand. I explained, showing them the quantum key hidden in its mechanism. Not just the technology, but the responsibility that comes with it. He betrayed us, Thomas said bitterly. His own children. No, I corrected. He gave us a chance to choose. You chose power. I chose truth. 1 year later, I stood in a new laboratory, bright, open, legitimate. The quantum technology that had been stolen was now being used as it was originally intended, to help people, to advance science, to make the world better. On my wrist, Dad's watch kept its frozen time. I'd had it repaired, but left the hands at 3:47, a reminder that some moments in time should be preserved. Not to hide secrets, but to reveal them when they're ready to be found. The security guard nodded as I badged into the lab. Morning, Dr. Morrison. I smiled. Good morning. Because that's who I was now. Not the family failure, not the broken Morrison, but simply a scientist trying to do what's right. Behind me, the quantum processors hummed with potential, their energy no longer constrained by theft and secrecy. Free to change the world, just as their original inventors had intended. My phone buzzed, a message from Agent Chen. New quantum patent approved. Congratulations. I touched Dad's watch gently. He had built an empire on stolen dreams, then ensured its destruction would set things right. His final gift wasn't the watch, or the quantum key, or even the truth about Project Echo. It was the chance to be better than he was. And that was worth more than any corporate secret.